everybody. I'm Philip.
And I'm Justin.
And together, we're Pajamas. And today, we get to watch some Hot D.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Tell me more.
Some Hot D. With some blonde people with long hair and maybe incest. I don't know.
All right, we need to see it.
Yes, today we are starting House of the Dragon.
Oh. Well, that's still interesting.
We watched Game of Thrones, all of it, even though the shitty end. I am a little cautious going into this because I don't think it's the same show people. D&D, I don't think they did it. If they did, I would not watch this at all. I hope they never get work again. I've been very, very clear on that. Just because Game of Thrones ended so poorly that I know I'm not the only one that's kind of like, you hurt me so bad. I don't know if I could take you back. Tomorrow I asked you if you wanted to watch it, and you're like,
Yes, but at the same time, why not?
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to watch House of the Dragon episode 1. All I know is that it is obviously based in the Game of Thrones universe. It is 200 years before Game of Thrones. So we're leading up to that, or, in the lead up to that. And I know one of the actors in it. And that's all I know. But before we get into that, 2 disclaimers. Number 1, it's hot. It's summer. It sucks. Boo. As of this recording, it is still August. It is very warm. Very, very warm. We have not yet transitioned into the time of hoodies and pajama pants. So yeah, there's that. It sucks. We hate it. We don't like it. Boo. Disclaimer number 2, we apologize for any stammering, stuttering, slurring, or mouth noise. I have a speech impediment that acts up from time to time, and I have a glandular issue that acts up all the time. I do my best to remove any issues in post, but sometimes they still come through. And so I do apologize. Are you ready to see what the hell this is about?
Yes.
All right, me too. Without further ado, let's get into it. Please don't be awful.
House Targaryen stood at the height of its strength, with 10 adult dragons under its yoke.
Wow.
No power in the world. Princess Rhaenys Targaryen, the king's eldest descendant. Prince Viserys Targaryen, the king's eldest male descendant. Rhaenys, a woman, would not inherit the Iron Throne. The only thing that could tear down the House of the Dragon was itself.
Every time that golden beast brings you back unspoiled, saves my head from a spike.
You will lie in this bed soon enough, Rhaenyra. This discomfort is how we serve the realm.
I'd rather serve as a knight and ride to battle in glory.
Dochen pelik nut stati lux da or. Koti oteranno sit isa.
Hexie ultratan.
Teranno zucho ario sit.
I brought you something.
You aren't worried about your position?
I like this position. It's quite comfortable.
Nice.
Can you say yet what it is?
We've sent inquiries to the Citadel. They are searching the text for similar cases.
I wouldn't be surprised if I hatched an actual dragon.
And he will be loved and cherished.
You do understand that nothing will cause the babe to grow a cock if it does not already possess one.
This child is a boy, Emma.
Yeah. Born wearing a crown. God spare me. Birth is unpleasant enough as it is. I know it is my duty to provide you an heir. And I'm sorry if I have failed you in that I am. But I've mourned all the dead children I can.
Beginning tonight, King's Landing will learn to fear the color gold.
It was an unprecedented roundup of criminals of every ilk. Your brother made a public show of it.
You want them mugged, raped, murdered. You mightn't know this unless you left the safety of the Red Keep, but much of King's Landing is seen by the small folk as lawless.
If only the prince would show the same devotion to his lady wife as he does his work, your grace. You've not been seen in the Vale or at Runestone.
In the Vale, men are said to fuck sheep instead of women. I can assure you, the sheep are prettier.
God.
You made a vow before the Seven to honor your wife in
If you're in want of a woman to warm your bed, your own lady wife passed recently. Did she not?
You know how my brother makes sport of provoking you. Must you indulge him?
I would humbly ask for the favor of the queen who never was.
Tongues will not change the succession. Let them wag.
Oh. Okay, good. The horse is okay.
Now, I'm fairly certain I can win these games, Lady Alicent. Having your favor would all but assure it.
What's happening? The infant is in breach, Your Grace. All attempts to turn the babe have failed.
Oh. Sore loser. Ugh. It is the Game of Thrones universe. Aye, aye, aye.
Sometimes becomes necessary for the father to make an impossible choice. To sacrifice one, or to lose them both.
So tense. What happened?
What is happening? Are you serious?
Please don't show it. Please don't show it. Please don't show it. Please don't show it. Oh. Has to be so horrible. No drugs, no... Don't turn your back. Yeah.
Congratulations, Your Grace. You have a son.
Dracarys!
Damn.
My Lord has. Despite how difficult this time is, Your Grace, I feel it's important the succession be firmly in place for the stability of the realm.
The succession is already set, by precedent and by law.
Could destabilize the realm.
The realm? Or this council?
No one here can know what Daemon would do were he king.
What are you saying? My brother would murder me. Take my crown. Are you? Daemon has ambition, yes. But not for the throne. He lacks the patience for it.
The gods have yet to make a man who lacks the patience for absolute power, Your Grace.
Under such circumstances, it would not be an...
He is impulsive and violent to protect the king and the realm from him.
There are others who would have a claim.
Such as your wife, Lord Bruce, but the queen who never was.
My wife and son are dead! I will not sit here and suffer crows that come to feast on their corpses!
He's gonna die.
I thought you might go to him. Offer him comfort. You might wear one of your mother's dresses.
Like that chandelier.
All I wanted was for someone to say that they were sorry for what happened to me. I'm very sorry, Your Grace.
Dream and pray as they all might, it seems I'm not so easily replaced. To the king's son.
Styling him the heir for a day.
You have no allies at court but me! I have only ever defended you! Yet everything I've given you, you've thrown back in my face!
I see Otto Hightower for what he is.
An unwavering and loyal hand.
A cunt! You're weak, and that council of leeches knows it. They all prey on you for their own ends.
He's good.
I have decided to name a new heir.
I'm your heir.
Not anymore. You are to return to Runestone.
It's not going to end good. What if the throne stabbed him in the back?
But they say that because of our dragons. Without them, we're just like everyone else.
There are power men should never have trifled with. Targaryen must understand this to be king. Or queen.
Yep.
Daemon is your heir.
Daemon was not made to wear the crown. But I believe that you were. Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. 'Tis to begin with a terrible winter, gusting out of the distant north.
Lord of Winterfell.
Aegon saw absolute darkness riding on those winds.
I love the lyrics. I have no idea what they're saying, but it sounds beautiful.
The issue with something being set in the Game of Thrones universe is that you can never get too comfortable with anything because anything can happen at any time to anyone unless it's the last 3 seasons and they play it safe. So this entire time, like every time I'm like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? It is good to be back in King's Landing, and like it was cool to see the wide shots and all this stuff. It's like, yay.
Yes.
Maybe this series can help rejuvenate the absolute scorched earth that D&D did to the franchise. Cool to see Matt Smith in something good. If I read correctly, he'd been offered different like comic book or superhero roles or whatever, and just turned him down because like, he wasn't sure it was something he wanted to do or it fit him. Then he finally chooses one. He finally gets one, and it's Morbius. Then apparently I think he was in something else that wasn't well received. I'm like, oh man, dude, you just are not picking good IPs, and here you go. See, I was worried it was going to feel like, because Game of Thrones was at its best, was so vast and just so like so much lore and so much you could just get absorbed in it. I was afraid this was going to come off as cheap or like it would pale in comparison.
Many sequels do.
Yeah.
Or in this case, a prequel.
Yeah. And like all the still shots I'd seen, it didn't look the best. Like the hair, I thought looked. It isn't the still shots. Like just like when I would see like pictures of Matt Smith, I knew he was the only person I knew was in this. All the shots I saw were kind of like the makeup and hair design looks kind of cheap, but in the actual show it looked fine. Just like I'm just still very tense. It's gonna be like that every damn episode. It'll be like no one died except for the couple important characters and the people. The side characters we don't care about. But man, this sets up some definite pieces are put on the board.
Yes.
There's a lot of players here. You have the Queen That Never Was being passed up twice. And her husband, imagine that like your wife has claim to the throne. But they didn't want to name a female heir. And
it would seem as if it's going to be a female, it should be one with experience. This one is still a young lady.
Yeah. So you get passed up, then you get passed up again, this time for a female. Like, that can't be good. And then her husband has to pledge fealty to her. Like, oh man, I get it's tradition, that's how it's done, but man, like
they need to solidify.
Yeah. It was cool, like seeing like the Starks there, the Baratheons. Like I was like, Game of Thrones, nom 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 nom. Back when it was good, nom 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 nom. And then we have Matt Smith like being a villain. I'm for it, man. Well, he was a villain in Morbius. I'm not going to spoil Morbius. Don't watch Morbius. It was awful. He was a villain. Stupid. He deserved better. But here, he's a proper villain. Man. His name's Damon. Like, of course he's a villain. His name's Damon. But yeah, now, like, he has a claim to the throne, but he's so,
impulsive.
Yeah, that his own nature has taken him further away from the throne than his first shot in the show was him sitting on the throne. Yes. Which just shows how cocky and arrogant he is.
A very bold thing to do.
I guess if you're the king's brother and you're given free range to do whatever you want because you're the king's brother, you are a Targaryen, you are the rightful heir to the throne by succession. You can be like that, but he got passed over. He overheard that conversation, so I think it was his name. Okay, and this is also like when Game of Thrones, like I'm gonna say Game of Thrones, but I mean the universe when I say that. I first started watching Game of Thrones. The cast is so large, and so like it takes me a while to get the names. I wrote some of the names down, but it takes me a while to get. So I'm gonna call them probably the wrong names, or I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. I'm gonna refer to them as like the queen that never was his husband. I don't know his name. Hightower, I think. He's gonna die. Straight up, because Damon was listening in on that one.
Yeah.
And they're adversaries. So he's gonna die. And then now there's gonna be a rift between Rhaenyra and Damon, because they were close.
Yes.
But now she has succession and he's been banished, kinda.
But he could use that connection to manipulate her, if she allows him to manipulate her.
Exactly. Like, and there will be Game of Thrones spoilers throughout the season or whatever, because we're gonna be referencing stuff. So just if you haven't seen Game of Thrones,
why are you watching this?
Yeah, well, go watch the first 6 seasons. Well, yeah.
I would recommend that it puts everything into context.
Stop after season 6. But spoilers incoming. Now, we didn't read the books. We don't have any, and it's been so long since I've seen Game of Thrones. But when Cersei took the throne, like literally took it, hail Cersei. Wasn't she the first queen? I forget. If not, what I'm about to say is absolutely pointless, and please ignore it. But if she is, Rhaenyra is never getting on the throne. Like, we know the end game. Like, this is 172 years before Daenerys is born, before the Mad King and all that stuff happened, and the throne changed to a Baratheon. They ruled a long ass time. So if I'm misremembering, that is completely irrelevant then. But if I'm remembering correctly, then she doesn't make it to the throne.
That is a good point. I'll have to look back on that.
I keep wanting to stroke my beard. It sucks. And hey, Matt Smith naked.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yes, we get that.
So, a little bonus. But yeah, there's a lot of it's the Game of Thrones universe. GOTU. Go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the go-to. It's a go-to. So,
it's very realistic. It shows without hesitation the brutality that real life can be.
And how just how serpentine everything feels. Like, everything feels slithery and just don't trust anyone.
Apparently not even yourself.
Yeah. So glad to be back in the immersion of the universe. Definitely intrigued. I was like, we were talking, let's check the first episode out. Let's see what it's like. We both liked Game of Thrones, like most of it. I will beat that dead horse. I will. I'm sorry. Get used to it. I will not get over it, and I will not forgive it.
You aren't alone in that.
I'm not. They offered them like a blank check and like at least 2 more seasons to wrap it up. They said no. They rushed to the end to go do Star Wars, and then they abandoned Star Wars because they're fucking hacks and they're not good at their job. But it's good to be back in the universe. I'm hoping this can, like I said, can kind of maybe right some wrongs as far as storytelling goes. As long as they're not involved ever again, ever. Because I was worried initially, because for the first 5 seasons or whatever, for the seasons they had the books, obviously because they had source material, because they're awful. Like, if you take a look at some of the work they've done independently, D&D, of the work they've done independently, like, they did the worst X-Men movie ever. One of them did. Absolutely. Like, it was the one Wolverine one with Deadpool, but he had like the stuff. It was awful. The worst one. Because of course it was, because they're not good at their jobs. But when they have source material, like they brought Game of Thrones to life. I'll give them that for the first 5 seasons. Holy shit. One of my biggest regrets is that we did not watch and react to that. We could watch it again, but it wouldn't be as authentic because we know what's going to happen. We know about the Red Wedding. Like,
yes, and we know about the winter that he was talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
And how it will end.
We were there when the Red Wedding happened, and I sat there in stunned silence with tears rolling down my face.
I remember.
And I had to walk away just because I burst into tears. I was sobbing at the end. Oh, that was such... or the time I was... Back when I used to do this, hypothetically, I was stoned out of my mind for the episode where Cersei blew up the keep.
Mm.
And oh my God, that was the perfect episode to be high as a kite. And I'm just like, because the music was great, and the build was great, and the one guy, the stupid annoying guy who had joined the church or whatever, lit the flame and saw all the stuff, and then the wildfire, and I'm hoping we get storytelling like this. And apparently this is based off of another series, Fire and Blood, which I didn't know. I didn't even know this existed. So I have high hopes that G.R.R. Martin is a good storyteller. He's slow as shit, but he's a good storyteller. And if we have source material from beginning to end, which I hope we do, we should, because, Fire and Ice is right there. I'm hopeful. But I'm also like, because I said anything can freaking happen in this, in the go-to. So, yeah.
Shall we go to your notes now?
Sure.
Philip's notes.
My first note was, it's Game of Thrones universe. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I had to prepare myself. Like, that's kind of what it's a double-edged sword. Because when you first watch Game of Thrones, if you haven't read the books, everything was so new and so shocking and so just visceral and cutthroat, literally in some parts. And like the Red Wedding, like just stuff you weren't expecting, and it just like it like alters you as a viewer forever. Because now I'm like, you're expecting it now, so it's kind of like that if a shocking, like let's say Daemon kills Rhaenyra, I'd be like, oh wow, but I'd be like, I was kind of expecting it based on the go-to and everything we know, like expect the unexpected, especially when G.R.R. Martin is writing it. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like, it's cool that we have this again, but it's also like we kind of expect the unexpected now. So it might not be as shocking. Like, will we have a Red Wedding moment in this series? Maybe, but that came out of left field. That was amazing. Or the Purple Wedding, like that was also really good. Will we have a Joffrey, which is just like so good at being bad that the poor guy had to like stop acting because of it? I just say this is like, will we get to that moment? Will we get to these characters? Daemon is obviously the clear antagonist in this. We think it's Game of Thrones. Again, you have to be on your guard. Guard, swords, guard. See what I'm doing here?
Practically everyone is power hungry in some sort of way.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, but we're used to it now. Like let's say you're invited to a feast, and there's 8 courses, and the first 5-6 courses are fantastic. The last 2 courses are dog crap. They're awful. Somebody just got on a table, pulled their pants down, all over everything, and they got millions of dollars to do it. I'm not. It's gonna be all season, y'all. But if you get invited to a feast again, like, okay, I know what to expect now. I know what the lighting's gonna be like. I know what what the music's gonna be like. I know what the seating's gonna be like. I know what the ambiance is gonna be like. We have an idea. We did, so it's good and bad, but I kind of miss being like the wide-eyed doe in the forest, being like, oh. But now we're kind of like, we saw our mom get killed, so we know what to expect. Kind of, we're prepared as much as we can be. So, if that makes sense. Part of me misses the innocence of Game of Thrones, but then part of me is just like, okay, we're back now. Shock me. I dare you. I dare you, G.R.R. I dare you. Do it. I dare you.
And how did he do?
I wasn't shocked. I'm talking in general. No, I don't mean this episode. I mean, like, for how many ever seasons this is, I dare you to give me a red wedding. I dare you to give me a purple wedding. I dare you. Lay down the gauntlet. Gauntlet. See what I'm... Ha 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 ha.
You could probably write a whole book at this rate.
I'm just jousting you.
There, you did it again.
All right, I'm back to the notes. All right, so we find out this is about House Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I mean, I kind of figured with House of the Dragon being the title. They have 10 dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have an empire going on. King Viserys has been on the throne for 9 years when it starts officially. And I said it's 172 years before Daenerys is born. I appreciated the Game of Thrones score being woven through other instrumental things. That was good. I liked it. It
gives a sense of continuity, even though it's taking place further back.
Yeah. So we see Rhaenyra, and she's at the side of her mother, who is very pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Very pregnant. And she's checking on her because everyone is worried about the baby. She's like, well, somebody needs to worry about you. She's the queen after all. The queen says, this bed is how we serve the realm. I was like, ooh. I get it.
True.
But yeah, I get it. But damn.
It's basically based off of the Western medieval history. And, well, yes, that's basically their only point in existing was.
But Rhaenyra says, I'd rather serve it as a knight. I was like, yay, I like her. I like that she had aspirations outside of her gender, of what she was boxed in. She was like, I want to be more than what you're telling me that I have to be.
She sounds like another character from Game of Thrones that we know.
Yep, Arya.
Mm.
Yep. First person I thought of, too. Hopefully she doesn't get a super awesome storyline where she becomes one of the faceless men and then uses it like once or twice really cool and then doesn't, and it just goes off to sail the world. This is going to be like my catharsis therapy session throughout the entire season of just bitching about Game of Thrones because I have so much anger. Like, how do you ruin what was easily the best TV show, the best ever, just the best storytelling ever, and you absolutely ruined it. Back to the notes. And then we have the King's Court or whatever they are, and apparently there's a triarchy forming of people like pirates or something. And anytime anything is introduced, I'm always kind of like, how does this lead to what we know? That's what kind of because I'm going in my head. Obviously, that was dropped for a reason. The king is having a tournament to celebrate the birth of his son, who has not been born yet and is not a son yet.
Yes, I found that very interesting.
But he had a dream.
Many people do.
That he said it was as clear as it was clearer than a memory. Where he had a son and he was born with a crown. Ouch! And he placed him on the Iron Throne, and so that didn't happen. But later on, they talked about the vision, the dream that Aegon had of the winter, and winter is coming, all that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we have this tournament, et cetera, et cetera. The king is convinced. He says, "There's a boy in her belly, my heir." And poor Rhaenyra is like right there, poor thing. Which, as you said, the medieval hierarchy and all that, but that had to have happened, obviously, in real life.
Oh yeah.
At some point back then, where like there was a daughter who had aspired to be on the throne, but the king was gonna have a son, and my heir, a boy, and you should be like,
I suspect that Mary and Elizabeth thought the same thing. Mary was his firstborn child, Henry VIII's firstborn child, but she was a girl. So, try again. Elizabeth, try again. Edward, finally. He then gets to be king, but for a short period of time, he was a very sickly boy. Then it goes to Mary and then to Elizabeth. Imagine how that probably made the situation like at the dining room table.
Yeah. Awkward. And I like the line, bad hues of the mind affect the body. Because the king has like some kind of lesion or something, but it looks like the skin's being eaten away.
Yes.
So, and it's like all pussy and stuff. I wonder, is the Iron Throne poisonous? Because there's like spikes everywhere in this throne room, and the other one it was just the throne. So I wonder if they found out later, like, okay, this is poisonous or, hazardous to your health somehow, because it would make sense if he got poked in the back while sitting down. That's where that came from. And then he like cuts his finger later. That's what I was thinking to myself, what if it's the throne doing it to him?
Yes.
Or what if somebody put poison on the throne? Then the queen asks, is this the last one? She's had stillbirths. She's lost babies. She said, I've mourned all the dead children I can. I was like, oh. Can you imagine that as like, a mother?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and obviously it's happened to people in real life, obviously. But to see it talked about, it makes you think, like, as guys, we will never go through that. So it makes you stop and think for a second, as a woman who, if you really want to be a mother, and in this case want to provide your husband an heir, a proper heir, then you're a broodmare. It's your function. Like, obviously he loved her and all that stuff, but as far as like your role as queen is to provide an heir.
The social pressure.
Yeah. So you just stop thinking, like, man, that'd just be like so tough on her. Go through all of that. And so yeah.
Regardless of where one is in the social hierarchy, one will always be confronted with social expectations and pressure.
Yeah, yeah. And then we meet Prince Daemon. Prince Daemon is head of the City Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And they introduce themselves in grand fashion by just going through, finding all the criminals, chopping off limbs, chopping off genitals. Holy crap. I was like, Game of Thrones. Like, it's the Game of Thrones universe, the go-to. Here, let's go. Let's go. But his reasoning was he was trying to make King's Landing safe for the tournament. So many lords and whatnot were coming from different families. Would you want criminals and rapists and all that stuff there? No, but
at the same time, I would say you are not to function in this fashion. You are to only obey my command, and I did not tell you to do this. This is a breach of hierarchy. I make the rules, not you. You enforce them only.
King Justin. We see the tension between Daemon and I think it's Hightower pretty much offers his wife to him. He's like, well, didn't you lose yours recently? And stands up and the king says, my brother makes sport of provoking you. And then I forget what he said after that because I was writing so fast I went on to the next thing. But basically it was like, must you humor him? That wasn't the exact words, but it's just like, must you? Then he has to apologize to him. Dang. Like, obviously, yes, but power play. And then there is the jousting tournament thing. The one person asks a favor of the queen who never was. I was like, that's really inappropriate and ballsy to say in front of the court.
Yes. What a nickname to end up having.
But to say it out loud in front of
all of these people.
In front of the king's court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dang. And then Prince Daemon comes out to joust. He's preening like a peacock, riding around. And he chooses the eldest son of the hand. And then we have sore losers, people killing each other. That was graphic. Game of Thrones universe. The queen's birth, the baby is breech, but it won't turn. So he said he has an important choice. Sacrifice one or lose them both. There's a new technique, C-section. Except it's not safe. They pretty much, kill the mother. I really like the two scenes. I like when they do this in the show when like one scene is happening at the same time as another scene and they go back and forth. So we have the mace versus sword fight between Daemon and who ended up being the Dornish guy. Then we go back to the C-section scene. So it's like the bravado and whatever of Daemon and the fight that they're doing, of which he ultimately has to yield. So surprised that guy's not dead. But he ultimately wins the Dornish guy. He asks for the princess's favor. And then he indeed has a boy. When they say, congratulations, you have a son. He's like, it's a boy. It's just like, what an awful moment. Like, lose your wife, who you love. You get a son, you get an heir. And then you lose it.
Yes.
I was expecting more trickery or chicanery there, like someone poisoned the baby. Because the next scene is, where they're on like these pyres or whatever, and we see one body, and obviously it's the queen. Then we have that wide shot. You see the smaller body beside her, and that's the baby. It's just like, like he lost both his wife and his son. Baby lived for a few hours, which was interesting. Is when the one person was holding the baby. I might be reading too much into it, but it's the go-to Game of Thrones universe, so everything means something to me. He kind of looked at it kind of weird. I was like, uh-oh. Then, like, next scene, he's dead. So, do we find out later that the baby was tampered with in some way? Who knows? Then we hear Dracarys. And the council is called, and they're trying to set a succession. So it sounds like kind of like the one, maybe the Meister, Maester, might know what's going on with his condition more than he's letting on. They seem really, because physically the king looks fine. Looks like he has like decades ahead of him to rule, but they want to set succession now. So it makes me wonder. They bring up, why Daemon can't be the king because he's just dangerous. And I think the king says something like he doesn't have the ambition for the crown. I'm like, dude, read the room. And then the line, gods have yet to make a lack of ambition for absolute power.
Which is true.
Yeah, I liked it. And then the king, of course, is mourning. Yeah, and he's doing his sculpture of King's Landing. He looked really cool. And Hightower, maybe, I'll look it up, sends his daughter to go to offer the king comfort. And he tells her he might want to wear one of your mother's dresses. Here, go comfort the king, but wear one of your deceased mom's dresses. That's... Ugh. And then we find out that Daemon was in a brothel. That's his thing. With his main concubine, lady. But apparently they were celebrating what happened. And he called the baby an heir for a day. So the king calls him to court. And is very mad, obviously. And they have a little spat. Daemon is mad that he wasn't made hand. And the king's like, he's loyal. And Daemon says, he's a cunt.
Well,
I mean,
from his point of view, I suppose.
I guess, but we're so new to the universe, to this lore, that it just seems like he was passed up, so he's just jealous. So he just keeps lashing out. Like, if that was the case, I would just like, is the Night's Watch a thing yet? Send him there. Go to the wall. Goodbye. But then instead of killing him or cutting off his tongue or anything, he's sent back to Runestone, back to his wife. And then he goes and gets his dragon. And I was like, of course his dragon is red and evil looking.
Well, he did go on about how he doesn't like her, so I suppose that's a punishment in itself.
Well, he's bringing his concubine with him, so. Guess we're a prince. Man. It shouldn't be. It's just astounding how little females mean. And not only like in this lore, not in Game of Thrones, but also just in medieval times. Like even like today, like I can get into it. America. Moving on. And then once he was sent back to Runestone, I wrote, bad choice. It's a mistake. That was dumb. Like, he's going to rue the day he did that. The king is. But him saying that his brother doesn't have ambition just shows that the king doesn't see his brother for what his brother is. How, like, conniving he is. He just sees him as impulsive and, reactionary. But you combine those two things with ambition, he gonna die. Because also, when we first saw him, he was sitting on the throne. What if he did something to the throne before Rhaenyra got there? He could poison his brother. So if his brother dies, he gets the throne. But now he doesn't because Rhaenyra has it. And then the king says, dragons are a power man should never have trifled with. I'm like, yeah. He's talking to his daughter, and he names her heir to the throne. And I immediately wrote friction with Daemon. Like, there's a lot of unhappy subjects that it's a woman, well, a girl, but female. So, like I said, there's a lot of pieces now, which one would hope it's the go-to, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what's gonna happen? Daemon is leaving with his concubine. I was like, Duke could just fly his dragon back there and burn them all. If he wanted to.
I suppose.
And just claim the throne. Wouldn't be the first time a Targaryen did that. Ha! Bad writing. And that's all for my notes. Everything else from patrons over on Patreon. It is so freaking warm. I feel like we're living in a song of fire right now. I long for the Song of Ice. But yeah. We were both very hesitant, very trepidatious going into this. For mine, I guess I'm definitely looking forward to episode 2.
I can definitely say that I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah. But that will be hopefully in the next week or two for us. We are going to be behind schedule just due to the nature when it's on. And my editing, I have a lot of it. And I'm only one person. So I will get these out when I can, as soon as I can, and all that stuff. But as for now, is there anything else you'd like to add about this episode?
No.
That is going to wrap this one up. As always, I am melting. Now, as always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.